great job when you elected John Thresher. He's done it. Let's give him a round of applause. Now he's like I am. We listen to our wives. Both of us have been married a long time. John and Jean have been married 49 years. Ann and I have been married 40 years. We got married when we were 41 years. That's a bad time. I've never missed a day, though. Just so you know, I might get the years wrong, but I've not missed a day. So first off, thanks for the opportunity to be here. My wife and I have both enjoyed being here. She got to go to your new charter, what's that, Putnam Edge. Yeah, she got to go there today and had a wonderful time. But what a great community. It's beautiful along the river. The people that came by today, I got to have lunch with a lot of your elected officials. I got Senator Thresh and I got to listen to concerns that individuals have. And you have issues. I mean, you've got issues. Look, our state is moving in the right direction. But we've not all gotten where we need to go yet. There's still work to do. But let me just, the first thing people ask me, what in the world were you doing in 2010? Why would you run for office when you've had any success in business and you didn't need to do this? And I think Senator Thresh should probably say the same thing. We have kids. This is our 21-month-old grandson. His name is August, although he was born in November. I never got that. This one is 5 weeks old. His name's Quentin. I haven't had any luck getting one named Richard or Rick, so his nickname's Rick. My daughter hasn't. Huh?
Your name is an August name. August Philippe Richard Guimard.
Oh yeah, my name. So my wife defends my daughters all the time. She's a typical mom. She's a nurturer. So she said, "Oh sure, your name's part of your first grandson's name. His name is Auguste Philippe Richard Guimard. Does that sound like Rick?" Not close. The other grandfather's French, and so who won out? Auguste Philippe Richard Guimard. Not Rick, Richard. So first off, I just want to thank you. You did everything you could to get me elected. I hope you feel like I'm heading in the right direction. If you have a complaint, it's because I didn't do it exactly what I said I was going to do when I ran. I actually believe in conservative, pro-growth principles. They do work. So I walked in, as Senator Thresher said, think about our state for a second. If you compare us to other states, and look, there's a lot of federal problems out there. The federal government is clearly headed in the wrong direction. They are lost, okay? They don't get it. I mean, they're raising taxes, they're raising regulation, their permitting process, they're coming down on everybody. It doesn't make any sense what they're doing, all right? So what we can do is do the things we can do to make ours the best state in the country. Now, our competition is actually Texas. They've been the gold standard. So as long as we can beat Texas, we will be doing really well. So what has Texas done? Well, no income tax. Oh gosh, we don't have an income tax either. Less regulation. Well, we didn't have that. Ours was getting worse, but not horrible. Right? Right to work statement. Oh, they're the same as us. Well, what the living daylights happened to us the 4 years before 2010? We didn't have a pro-business attitude in our administration. We were raising regulation. We had an agency that sat up there and said, you know what, I don't care if in Putnam County or Clay County they've approved everything. We're just not sure that's good for you, so we're not going to let you develop. I tell everybody, I loved my mom. Unfortunately, my mom passed away last year. I hated her telling me what to do. And that's sometimes what state government does. Sometimes that's what counties do. Sometimes that's what the federal government's doing. And they're clearly doing it now. So I ran on a campaign to get our state back to work. As the senator said, I grew up in public housing. My parents struggled for jobs. My poor mom, she took in ironing. She worked at JCPenney. She did every sort of job. She was a host at a Chinese restaurant. Everything you can imagine, she did, just to put food on the table of 5 kids. So I know the most important thing we can do for a family is help them get a job. You can't fix anything else if you don't have a job. You just can't do it. And if you're in government, there is no money if businesses aren't successful and people don't have jobs. Where do all the taxes come from? Businesses and successful people. That's where they come from. So the first thing we had to do was say, how do we get our state to beat every other state in jobs? Because we're clearly competing. Businesses can go anywhere. You don't care. You don't care if what you buy is made in Vietnam, China, Florida, Ohio. You don't care. You don't even look anymore. We don't look. So if we have higher taxes, if we have higher regulation, if we have a long permitting process, if we have an anti-business attitude, what happens? The jobs go away. That's what was happening in our state. The real estate market collapsed. In Florida, why? So with the support of Senator Thrasher, Representative Van Zandt, and the Florida legislature, we have cut 2,600 regulations. We've streamlined the permitting process. We got rid of the Department of Community Affairs. I put people in agencies that said, you know what, I like people. I'm going to see if I can help them. Let's help them comply. Let's help them get in business faster. When I came into office, if you wanted to open up a restaurant, to get a state license, it was 40 days. A restaurant. Now it's a little over a day. The permitting process, you want to comply with the law, but you should know what the law is. You shouldn't be surprised if you're going to get a permit or not. And if you're going to get a permit, if they're going to give you one, give it to you now. Don't give it to you in 2 years. Now is maybe when you can borrow the money or get the capital. So we've done all those things, and then I just call on businesses all the time. So guess what's happened? We've had the 4 years before I became governor, we had the second biggest increase in unemployment in the country, the unemployment rate. It didn't make any sense that happened. We've had the second biggest drop. The private sector, have added 369,000 jobs. Now put that in perspective, we had 34,000 jobs created in this state by the private sector in July. We are heading in the right direction. Now here's the issue we got. It starts on the coast. So if you're Tampa down, if you're Jacksonville down on the coast, if you're in the I-4 corridor, that happens faster. Our rural counties are still struggling. You still have around 10% unemployment. So what we got to do is we got to keep growing jobs. And here's one thing we should be doing well in. I'm going to step back. Here's how I thought about the state, because I've been in business all my life. I said, if this was a business, what would you do? Well, you play to your strengths. What could we for sure do well at? Tourism. So we increased the funding at the state level from $24 to $63 million. Guess what? We're in our third year of record tourism. Right? When people come down here and they see our great state, what do? They buy a house. They say, oh gosh, I think I'll move my business down here. I like living here. Second, we invested in our ports. We had 15 seaports. We had one of them, the Port of Miami. They were ready to finish a dredge project. They couldn't get the money because the federal government wouldn't put it up. They put up federal money for a high-speed rail, but not high-speed. 84 miles, stop 15 times high-speed, right. But they wouldn't put up they put up $2.6 billion for that, wouldn't put up $78 million to finish the dredge in the Port of Miami, which would be 33,000 jobs. 33,000 jobs. Now I can count. I had a goal of 700,000 jobs. 33,000 sounded pretty good. So I said, we'll take state dollars and put it up, even though the federal government won't do it. So now we're heading in the right direction. First off, what's happening to housing? It's coming back. If you're in the bigger cities, Miami, I think Orlando last year, it's up 23% in 1 year. Probably 30 to 35% statewide in 2.5 years. So housing's come back. Jobs come back. What should happen in rural areas? We should be the manufacturing capital of the country. We have a little over 4% of our jobs are manufacturing. National average is right around 9%. So we're losing to states that don't have any ports. Look at what's happening. We're the gateway to Latin America. We've got the expansion of the Panama Canal, and we only have a little over 4% of our jobs in manufacturing. So we invested in our ports, and this year we got rid of the sales tax on manufacturing equipment. Why? Those are long-term. When somebody moves a manufacturing plant to Florida, those jobs are going to be here for a long time. Some jobs are not going to be here forever. Manufacturing jobs are going to be here for a long time. We made sure on education. And think about what we had to do. First year, I had almost a $4 billion budget deficit. $4 billion. We have to balance the budget. But we'd balanced the budget for 20 straight years, but increased debt about $1 billion a year. The 4 years before we became governor, we increased debt in this state by $8.7 billion. $8.7 billion. Somebody's got, like the federal government, we got to pay for it. What have we done? He said we're gonna live within our means. We're gonna reduce taxes to get more jobs. We're gonna recruit people to come here. So in 2.5 years, we paid off the $3.5 billion we owed the federal government on unemployment. We paid off $3.6 billion in state debt. We just right-sized the government and lived within our means. What you have to do every day.